Welcome to the SDA Housing Podcast, brought to you by NDIS Property Australia. Before starting this episode, we need to provide a general disclaimer. Information contained in this podcast is general in nature only. It does not take into account the objectives, financial situation, or needs of any particular person. You need to consider your financial situation and needs before making any decisions based on the information in this podcast. And you should consider seeking independent and professional advice for your personal circumstances. All right, let's begin.
Hello everybody, my name is Minh and I'm your host for today from NDIS Property Australia, and you're listening to the SDA Housing Podcast, a show that explains, highlights, guides and brings awareness about all things SDA in this ever-changing NDIS world. Today's episode is about the holistic home care event we recently went to. We're just doing a wrap-up of the event with Natalie here. Natalie Gaskin, how are you?
I'm fabulous, Minh. How are you?
Good. So Natalie, you want to tell us about the event? What was the reason why you had the event? Who were the guest speakers? How was the interaction of everyone there? And post wrap up a little.
Yeah, so bringing people and communities together events, which we're hosting on a yearly basis. It's all about people coming together to learn from each other, to share industry insights, to build new connections and build trusted relationships. And the one in September was all about supporting our participants throughout their SDA journey. We had amazing guest speakers. We had Greg Barry, he's the principal consultant and founder at SDA Services. We had Julie Yule, occupational therapist and rehab consultant at Greenlight Human Capital. We had yourself, Minh, from Build New Homes and also NDIS Property Australia. Brendan Wolf, lived experience and an amazing disability advocate. And we also had Padmini Saxena from the NDIA. And the feedback that we got from this event was amazing. And one of the highlights, I think, from this event was how raw it became, especially when Brendan was talking about his experience, applying for SDA and then having to go through the tribunal and what that looked like for him and how traumatic it has been for him. And it really shone a bright light on the pain and the trauma that these systems can create and why we need to all come together and work together, so much better so that people like Brendan don't experience such trauma.
Yeah. There's another lady in the crowd who was a wheelchair bound.
Yeah, so that was Sarah Stiles. She's from Wheelie Good Productions, really amazing woman, great energy, and she herself has that lived experience of that trauma.
So she explained how her story was NDIA wouldn't give her pay for a wheelchair, even though she's wheelchair bound. Her sister took out a loan to buy a wheelchair.
Yeah.
After many months of fighting the process, and I asked her afterwards at the end, she said she finally got a positive outcome. They were going to reimburse her sister for the cost of that, the first wheelchair, and they're giving her $20,000 funding to get another wheelchair.
And that's the beautiful thing about these events. It really is a safe space for people to open up, to have these raw conversations. And that's where I feel like if we continue to create these spaces, that the system will change because, people like Padmini from the NDIA will gather this information and feed it back to those, who really do need to hear it throughout the NDIA system. Yeah.
So after the event, throughout the event at the end of it, what was everyone's feedback to you about how the day went?
Yeah, everyone had the most amazing time. I think I hugged 100 people. I mean, I'm a hugger, but that was a lot of hugs. Everyone really, had a great time. They felt like, every guest speaker had, really purposeful discussion topic, which was great. People, took away, some great information, whether it was from, Julie around OT reports and assessments and what the NDIA are looking for, or whether it was from, what you, Minh, had to say about, statistics and, what are the market market trends, and also Greg Barry, from the perspective of, specialist support coordination and how, they support participants throughout that SDA journey. People just they were so grateful. Next time I've definitely got to look into louder microphones. For the more softly spoken guest speakers. So there's little nuances that, we need to refine. And I think, look, I'm not an expert in event management whatsoever. I do this just on, gut instinct and brazen balls. So hopefully I'll get better and better at doing these.
We all think, Matt, myself, and Luba were there at the event, and we all think you did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
The food was great, the crowd was great, the topics were great. I didn't know it was an SDA topic. I thought it was just a generic NDIS talks about different providers and coordinators and participants coming on to have a chat about stuff. But it was great the way it turned out, it rolled out. I think that it brought back to my mind that there's still a lot of lack of understanding and demand for knowledge and experiences for people like us to explain to the community from a grassroots level what's important, the stories of business to be aware of, to help people get through the whole process of the SDA application process and approval, and also construction and development of product as well in the SDA space. So it's good to get together. What would you change? So is it going to be another event next year, do you think?
Oh yeah, it'll be yearly, definitely. Yeah. I just want to keep building it until it becomes this massive beast. But like I said, I need to, just practice, and every event will just get better and better. And with support from people like yourself, I will learn how to run these more. I don't know, effortlessly, I guess. It would be nice. Because I do, the biggest thing that I find that brings me joy into my life is seeing people come together and really finding ways to work together collaboratively to minimise the gaps in service, so that people like Brendan Wolfe or Sarah Stiles, their lives are just easier, so they can just live their best life, so they don't have to, continuously fight a battle. It shouldn't be that way. And I think sometimes, we can get so entrenched in what we're doing that sometimes we lose sight of the effect it can have on those people living with a disability. So it's great to, stop and, just listen. Listening is so important. Yeah.
Well, I think we'll wrap up there, and now we'll head into the recordings of the day that we had.
Yes, I saw you running around with your little microphone and putting me on the spot. You're such a troublemaker. No, thanks for having me again. I really love being part of your podcast, and just let us know, and I'll definitely promote it for you.
How have you found the day so far?
It's been great. Interesting, the difference in speakers, going from Brendan to the lady from NDIA.
Yes.
I felt that she handled that very well, because I thought she was about to walk into a pretty scary environment of people. It's been good.
Jacques, what do you do?
I'm a business development for Continuity Care.
Yes.
And came out here today to understand a bit more about the SDA, what they do, and really enjoyed it. I found that there was a valuable information that I can come back and share that obviously with the guys back at the office, but then also understand better going forward when we talk to participants and support participants, some of the headaches that might be ahead. And I think that's the biggest thing, is being honest with them. It's not just a walk in the park. It's not going to be a walk in the park. It's going to be difficult, but hold their hand throughout that process. And I think like Brendan said there, be upfront and be honest, because I think everybody tries to sell you the dream, but it's not always going to be the dream. Some people might not even get to that dream the way they want it. And I think today really, really showed that. And I'm happy that everybody was honest from their point of view, from legislation telling you the process to where you told us from a building point of view or a housing point of view that we are in trouble, understanding Brendan's point of view as well, that, hey, you're not just going to tick a few boxes and it's going to happen. It might be a lot more difficult than you expect. So, I really enjoyed it today. And I've got a bit of work to take back and then evidence and experience to take back to our side.
Well, there's plenty of stats and figures here for you to take a look at as well. And the podcast, there's a lot of information there for you as well.
Thank you. I got that. Looked at. I've got a copy and I've got a copy.
No worries.
Thanks a million. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, mate. Bye.
Thanks.
I'm Kelly Johnston. I work for the Growing Space.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, support coordination.
Nice. How's the market treating you with regards to the endless demands and the work and the participants and all that kind of stuff? How's the overall for you?
Oh, it's pretty full on. There's a never-ending supply of participants who need support coordination. So, yeah.
How many participants do you look after at the moment?
I can't tell you off the top of my head. Probably around 20 at the moment. Yeah.
Any challenges you find with looking after those participants?
Challenges. I think just the usual things. Communication. Lines of communication. I work remotely with almost all my participants, so that's a really big thing, making sure that we're keeping in touch. And
Are they all in Brisbane?
all over the country.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Well, good luck for everything ahead.
thank you.
All the best. Thank you.
No worries.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Sarah, is it?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Sarah, what's your story?
My story is that the NDIA decided that I didn't need a wheelchair to be able to independently leave my house.
So this wheelchair here is okay, is not the one you need?
This is the one that I needed, but this is the manual wheelchair that I needed that my sister and brother-in-law with 4 babies had to get a loan out for.
So how much does this one cost?
Over 11 grand.
This one?
Yes.
Manual?
Yes.
So you need the electronic one?
I need a power chair so I can independently leave the house. I'm spending a fortune and I'm using up all my funding on a support worker 5-6 days a week when I should be more independent than that.
So how much will it cost to get a new chair, the one you want?
29,000.
Okay, cool. I'll keep that number in mind. Hey,
The
yes?
NDIA finally approved it, so we narrowly avoided a hearing. So that's just gone through last week.
So you'll get that funding when, and when will you order the new one?
That's a really good question. So they have approved it. They've got the invoice, so the quote, I should say. So it's just waiting now. It takes a few weeks apparently for them to get their butts in gear and get the new plan. So they're going to add all of that money to my plan. They also said their lawyer said that yes, my sister should be reimbursed.
Amber Hoy.
Hey, Min.
Hello.
How you going?
So tell us more about have you been relocated to a new role or new regions?
Not new, no. I've been in my National Business Development Manager role for just on 12 months now. Prior to that, I was in a state-based BD role. So growing, but not changed, essentially.
So how's the Aruma business model going? When the podcast last recorded you said the business is very efficient and it's going well. Are things still powering ahead as per normal?
Absolutely, and then some, I think, Min. We've had a number of particularly BD strategy days with our ELT and our board over the last month or so, and we're really moving towards, we now have our growth budget signed off and allocated. In addition to that, an aspirational growth budget on top of that, and seeing some really cool things come through in terms of, innovative kind of contemporary sorts of options, I suppose. I'm not going to say models, but options. Yeah.
That's great. Is there a lot of SDA demand amongst your business model for certain areas around Queensland itself that you guys are earmarking or being aware of?
There's demand everywhere. I think particularly for Aruma specifically at the moment, there is a lot of focus on the legacy stock and looking at options to transition either out of that particular stock or into modified or refined development to replace that stock. That's a huge amount of our stock across Vic and New South Wales, actually.
Yes. Do you talk to David Whitelaw from Adapt a lot? Much at all?
I know David well. Yep.
Well, we should talk more because they're talking to me a lot, our team, about bringing to market their pipeline of products or projects which need funding.
Yes.
We've highlighted we're now speaking to a fund manager in Sydney. He wants to be part of the whole process, so maybe we can do a coordinated approach to this discussion. We can definitely bring these products that we are already aware of, which require the SIL services to say, yes, we want that there and we agree with that.
Yep.
It would be nice.
Happy to do that. I've recently had a couple of conversations with fund managers for other SDA providers and the like. So, yeah, really happy to do that.
Great. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
No worries. Thanks, Min.
SDA Services, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Who are you? What do you do?
So we are an organisation that helps participants gain access to SDA funding within their plans. So we help them from initial applications through to Section 100 and Section 48 reviews, all the way through to AAT if that's the unfortunate step that they get to.
What is your success rate?
Good question. We're just running some numbers on that at the moment. So far, we've had over 800 engagements. So we've helped a lot of participants get funding. Success rate, we're looking at the figures at the moment. We've got
I've got two questions.
Yep.
Success rate initially, success rate on appeals.
Yeah, so that's what we're crunching numbers at the moment. So we've put together a big decisions register. So all the participants that we've assisted, we're putting together in one big sort of spreadsheet to figure out what those success rates are and how we compare to the market and all that sort of thing. So I don't have any hard figures for you at this second.
Do you have any rough idea, as in 50-50, 60-40?
What we think we're about 20% better than the market at the moment. That's our really crude,
So what is the market benchmark then?
I don't know. So yes, we're just waiting for some hard facts on that as well. So I don't want to sort of put too many numbers on it but we will be getting those numbers out soon, and we're launching it through our new website. So we'll have those facts for you.
So 800 in the last few years.
Yep.
How many do you reckon you'll have consistently in terms of engagements per year on a rolling basis moving forwards?
So at the moment we're having about 40 to 50 engagements a month. So that's for initial and review work. So yeah, so I'd say if that numbers keeps up, then we're going to be helping a few hundred participants by the end of this year.
So 40, 50 per month. Does that mean you take them all on board, or do you ever reject anyone at all in terms of engagements?
No, we don't. We've got enough staff, and everything's ready to go. So we're ready to help people, and we're all ready to facilitate and ready to go. So we never tell anyone no.
Now that's 40, 50 per month around Australia, right?
Correct. Yep, Australia-wide.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we're really proud of what we do.
Is Greg also coming to Western Australia, Perth next month in October?
For
the SDA networking event?
Not that I'm aware of. No, he's doing some stuff down south in Victoria and in New South Wales, but not Perth at this stage, and Tassie. Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll see him in the Melbourne networking event and the Hobart conference as well.
Sounds good. Thanks, Min. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
Hello, how are you today?
Who are you and what do you do?
My name is Siobhan and I work for Able Digital Wellness.
Able, not Mabel?
Able, not Mabel.
That should be the catchphrase right there. So what do you do and where are you in this NDIS space?
So we have created an online digital wellness platform for NDIS participants and their support teams. It's everything from exercise, nutrition, fitness, health, well-being. All content's developed by allied health professionals in consultation with Griffith University and the Black Dog Institute. And for every membership we get, we donate one to someone without an NDIS plan.
Wow. So how long has Able been around for and how much R&D went into it in the background prior to launch?
So it has been around since, the idea for Able started brewing during COVID. Our CEO has a nephew who is in a support independent living home and started to make some unhealthy choices throughout COVID lockdown, drinking too much soft drink, eating too much non-healthy food, and started to put on weight that was impacting his health and well-being. And Scotty thought, how do I make this better for him and his support team so that he can live a happier and healthier life? And he's thrown everything into building this amazing app that I think is just fantastic, and every NDIS participant and their support crews should have access to.
Has there been a lot of exposure and uptake on the app software itself?
We get out and about as much as we can. There's some great exposure right now.
Yes. We will definitely look at having a podcast interview with you guys, with your CEO, give more exposure to what you guys do to our listener base and our network as well, if you want to catch up with that. Are you getting much penetration in the Western Australia, Sydney, Victoria market as well?
Yeah, so we're a national platform. The wonderful thing about Able is that you can access it at any time in your own home or out in the community with your support team or on your own. And it's really great for people in remote communities as well. So we'd love to speak to any support coordinators, any SDA providers or SIL providers about increasing the wellness capability of their homes.
My name's Casey Temple and I work for Blue Tongue Pathways. So a part of my role is to basically invite young people into our space to see if they'd be suitable for School Leavers Employment Services. Part of School Leavers Employment Services is $22,000 funding, so it's a specialised funding that is in your NDIS plan, and it's basically the prelude to like getting a job. So it's building those foundational skills like routines, healthy eating, healthy relationships, appropriate dress, appropriate conversations, travel training, healthy, like all the different healthy habits, all the different things that make up to having like a working life. And then what we try and do is align discovery items as well, to sort of try and expand on a person's interest, to see what they gravitate towards to. If it's something they could do like a micro business, we were able to sort of support them in that space. If it's something they want to gain further education towards, we do that as well.
I think the NDIS numbers, half of the people are under 18 years old. Is that correct?
From my understanding, yeah, I believe so. I'm going to go off what you're saying because you're the man.
So you are in a niche area then?
Yeah, so it's a very niche area. So it's derived at 16 to 22. That is the bracket. And then after that, that's when, like the last 6 months of that funding, you can start to look at DES, and that's when you're job ready. So it's a bit of a tumultuous place at sometimes, because it can be, we've got to educate employers, we've got to educate advocates, and we're also educating the participants as well. And so it is a niche area, and it is something that is quite unique. But the benefits for an employer and the benefits for an individual and the benefits for advocates to see that growth and that change and that contribution to society and the contribution to a community and the effect it has, like positively, far outweighs like the fact of not giving it a crack and not having a go.
Exactly. So if people want to know more about what you guys do at Blue Tongue, where do they go? What website to go to?
So they can go to, just let me chuck it on here. So it's like you can go to like, follow us at Blue Tongue Pathways, or you can have a look at our email. Send us an email on hello@bluetonguepathways.com.au, or there's our website, which is Blue Tongue Adventures. So we've got sites at Helensvale, Toowoomba, and also out at Brisbane.
So is that bluetongueadventures.com.au?
Yes.
Great.
Thanks. Sorry, that was my bad.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please make sure you are subscribed and following us so you can keep in the loop with all of our upcoming episodes. We would really appreciate it if you could leave us a 5-star rating, a written review, and to share this podcast with those that could benefit. Until next time, catch you on the next episode.